Now, South African artists don't want to share a stage with Nigerian singer Burna Boy at the Africans Unite concert. The Tshwane Entertainment Collective has written to the Arts and Culture Minister to object to his inclusion. Now, Burna Boy was involved in a Twitter spat during the recent xenophobic attacks. Katlego Malatji from the Tshwane Entertainment Collective joining me now to explain what the issues are. And that's not the only issue, Katlego. Good evening.
Hi.
Thanks for your time. So various issues around this. It's about the appearance of Burna Boy. It's about funding. So let's talk about where you fit into the mix as the Tshwane Entertainment Collective.
Hi, Vika. Thank you for having us. So, yes, our primary issue, as we've been outlining, is around the funding model and the manner in which the state funds, or rather fails to fund local events, and rather opts to fund foreign-owned and corporate-owned companies, whereas the NDP and generally the government objective is for arts and culture to fund young black companies. So Play Network Africa, which is a company presenting this event, is a Nigerian company which came out quite explicitly when launching the event to say they were partnered with the Department of Arts and Culture and Gauteng Tourism, whose logos actually appeared in the artwork as well as on all the media comms that went out. And we challenged this, and we first inquired numerous times to the minister and to the department, say, what's this all about, how's this happening, how are you guys supporting this? Then further to that asked, and how are you supporting an event that also includes, so not only are you failing us with funding, but you're also supporting an event that includes an artist who has threatened violence to fellow South African artists, and who has spread rather falsehoods and mistruths around the xenophobic attacks.
Just remind us what he said for those of us who aren't aware.
I mean,
what did Burna Boy say?
He used language that I cannot use on national TV, but really, saying that Nigerians were getting slaughtered in their numbers on the streets, and that the South African government were to wake up. He would never come back to South Africa unless the government did something, and he threatened violence to artists such as AKA. And, in our understanding, he was not coming to South Africa until, I guess, the South African government did something for him.
So, are there South African artists who are scheduled to perform at this concert?
There are some South African...
It's an anti-xenophobic concert, from what I understand, right? That's the aim.
Well, so they say, an anti-xenophobic concert in the eastern suburbs of Pretoria, where we've never heard of xenophobic attacks, with tickets ranging up to 1,200 Rand. It's a commercial exercise. But, there's artists who have silently withdrawn from the event in solidarity with the Tshwane Entertainment Collective, whose local events organizers, who provide running business for this artist, to say, look, we've got a cause. We never receive government funding. We always struggle with it. Here are people that have come, they've gotten it, and we need to take a stand now to put a halt to it. So
there are some, but there are still some South African artists.
There are still some South African artists who will be performing, and we continue to appeal to them to say, look, neglect this one check for the greater cause, because for as long as the local entertainment companies fail to receive the requisite funding, they will soon die down, and your own opportunities to operate and do business will also die with them.
So what's the Department of Arts and Culture actually said to you? What's been their response to your requests?
So they took the cowardly approach to backtrack, and they mysteriously do not know how their logo appeared on the artwork, and
but the money, did they provide the money?
They do not know. So the aim currently is for everybody to backtrack and say, look, well, what money? We don't know of. So
they deny funding
any money. They are currently denying funding the concert, whereas we have information to the contrary, and where prior to the event, it's easy to say, well, I backtrack, and we say, okay, well, they'd provide explanations. How's Gauteng Tourism on all your media comms? How's Arts and Culture on all the media comms? How's it on the flyer? This is not happened. The company came out say, oh, well, it was just an endorsement, of which even that in itself, we don't receive endorsements. And what's the procedure? Of us, Natim Teta, explain to us, what's the procedure?
And where do the proceeds, or where will the profits go from this concert?
Well, Burna Boy said he would take some profits to victims of xenophobia. Who and what, how that works, we are not sure, but it's a profit-making exercise. It's not. There's no local companies involved. There's no Tshwane local young artists, vendors. It meets no objectives to improve.
What if the the Department of Arts and Culture, when it stops backpedaling or whatever it's doing at the moment, says, listen, because of xenophobia, and I'm just taking a, playing devil's advocate, saying, just as a gesture of goodwill, because people feel, this is how South Africans feel about foreigners, let's give them some money. Maybe it was a gesture of goodwill to say, to have a concert and let's bring people together. How would you feel about that?
And I mean, we would firstly be grateful for honesty, because that's something we've asked for from the department, over a lot, honesty, transparency, and tell us how these processes work, so that when we come back again, we can know this is what happens in a special situation of this nature. This is how funding gets released. We keep getting told, go back and apply for funding in the Mzansi Golden Economy, which, by the way, those applications are open in the period that the government partnered with Play Network Africa on this project. And you go back to that in itself. Natim Teto has been implicated in mismanagement of those very funds. So it's really a complex situation, and really our bottom line is to say to them, give us the bottom line. How does it work? And then start making sure that it works equally for everybody,
when
where there's transparency and accountability.
Well, Katlego, we're out of time, but very quickly, so what are you going to do about it now?
So, we've given a list of demands, and should they not be met, we will need to then take to the ground and speak the only language that the government seems to understand.
So you plan to derail the concert?
Well, not derail it, but
boycott,
it must be boycotted until something is done.
Okay, we'll be watching this one closely. Thank you very much for your time. Katlego Malatji from the Tshwane Entertainment Collective.